What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday night. Welcome back to the one, the only Orion Podcast. What is up, everybody? It's good to see you. My name is Chad Brock. Um, Happy to have you back here at another fabulous night for the Orion Podcast. We got an interesting guest tonight. A guy who's like, I'm going to say he's on his second career path at this point, maybe third, who knows? But really great friend of mine. I'm excited to have him here. I don't know where this thing's going to go. Could get wild. Could be. Could keep it together. You just never know what's going to happen with us. But without further ado, my good friend, Mr. Marcas Grubbs.
What's up, Chad?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I misplaced my button. I was going to give you like the proper Orion podcast welcome, but
No,
it's somewhere in this office, and it's destroyed at the moment. So,
it's all
but
good.
yeah, dude, this is like long overdue. We had you on the Doc Talk after the big championship event down at the Kentucky Lakes. Shout out to the damn brew house, our people
Oh
down
yeah,
there in beautiful
fine
Benton, Kentucky.
establishment.
Fine
Fine place.
establishment. They're having a 30s prohibition night down at the damn brew house. So if you're in the Benton, Kentucky area, come over there and check that out. Put your costume on, go over there and enjoy some good food, some good times. Oh, yeah. So, dude, like, what have you been up to? It's been like I haven't seen you since we're going to call it the incident that was Jason Cassidy's reception. We had a
Yeah,
time. It was a
yeah,
good time. We're going to call it the incident.
yeah. I barely remember any of it, so
Mm,
definitely an incident.
couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, that was definitely a good time. Been a while. Been a while since I got to let loose. So after a
Yeah, man.
good year of
You
tournament
tore it up.
fishing, we tore it up. So.
Tore it up. Tore it up. You just got back in from doing a little practice for some upcoming events, and
hmm
you looking forward to that one? Everything looked good.
Whew. It didn't go super well when I was there, but I mean, we still got a few weeks and a lot of weather to make things happen. So I'm confident if it doesn't get crazy cold and it doesn't look like it's going to, that things will happen. But I got one spot, and if it doesn't happen there, then I'm kind of screwed. So hopefully it happens.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure they
mean,
figure
there's
it out.
there's plenty of stuff around, but there's also a lot of people. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be tough.
and definitely in the area where you're headed, I think there's a ton of people.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that barrel of fun that is the
hmm
kayak tournament world, this ain't your first. This ain't your first rodeo. You were a PBR before you were a PKA, if we
Well,
so to speak.
yeah.
So for those, let's kind of backstory this a little bit. Let's talk about the pro bike career, man. Like you were there. Take us back to that and how did you go from the riding pro BMX, traveling the world really,
Yeah.
and to like the outdoors and kayak fishing and all that. How did this happen?
It's definitely a weird. I never thought it would have happened. I don't know, but as a kid, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so I definitely fished some farm ponds and did all that outdoorsy stuff. But when I was riding bikes, it was more city oriented, of course. So when I was traveling, we were going to a lot of downtowns and all that kind of stuff to ride rails and stairs and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Once I was kind of over with, I just it just happened. I don't know. I was out in Portland for a while in Oregon, and then stayed in Austin. And I had my dad sending me photos of 4 and 5 pound bass from this pond that I grew up fishing with him. So I was kind of getting the itch. So when I got back into town, first thing we did was go fishing, and it was frog season. So I caught a couple of fish on a frog like right when I got back, and that just, man, definitely fueled the fire. So I started buying setups and started walking around different ponds in Louisville, just the city ponds. There's all kinds of them.
There's I mean, you drive around down there in the suburban areas of Louisville and kind of along the Ohio River, and
Hmm.
there's plenty of spots to jump in and wet a line if a feller needs to.
Dude, so
Uh,
many.
yeah, I mean, gosh, there's just the ponds around the trails, and then
Hmm.
there's a few sloughs here and there that some feeder creeks that you can get into.
Yeah,
Legendary Floyd's Fork. I mean, we can say it because I mean it ain't like people around the area don't
yeah,
know.
right. Dude, I'll go there in the middle of winter and catch nice 15-inch smallmouth in a puddle.
Yeah, it's
Can't beat that. And it's pretty cool. So yeah, I did all that and tried to just figure out how I was going to get out a little deeper. And first thing I did was buy a set of waders and tried walking out, as far as I could in these ponds and fish. And then I realized that was kind of stupid because I was just sinking in mud. It's hard to fish when you're in a foot of mud. So I got
like
a I got a float tube, and I fished out of that a couple of times and realized that was kind of stupid too. But I did catch, dude. I caught like a 3.5 pounder on that thing, and it was awesome. But uh, yeah, I bought an Ascend off of Craigslist for a couple $100 and just upgraded from there until I found the Yak Freaks. What was that,
mhm.
2016, I think?
Yeah,
Whenever I
man, it's
fished
been
the first tournament with y'all on Tucker
yeah.
Lake.
I think yeah, we had one full season, got one full season under our belt, and yeah, this was the second season. We started seeing guys like yourself show up.
Hmm.
For those of you guys that don't know, I met this dude that like midnight on Instagram.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's one of them stories where it's just like, hey, you like fishing? Yeah, me too. Okay, let's be best friends. And
dude.
yeah, that's
I think I
that's
spread
how
out
Harry met
like a bunch
Sally
of
in
my
this one.
stuff. I took my
Yeah,
rods and reels and spread them out and took a picture. And it's like, dude, I'm ready to go.
yeah.
Let's fish this tournament.
Shows up, fishes, does good, never looks back.
Dude, it was it. I dude, if you'd have told me that day or just any time around then that it'd be like it is now, like, whew, no way I'd have believed you. No way I thought that I'd be driving down to Alabama and Tennessee 7 or 8 times a year to fish tournaments and stuff out of a kayak. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a humble start. I mean,
Yeah,
shoot, dude, everybody. I mean, it was simple. It was very, very simple.
very simple. Our
In that
our
regard.
identifiers were colored string on our measuring boards.
Yeah, colored string on the measuring board. Hog trough didn't lie back then.
Definitely didn't.
Um, it was way simpler. I
Yeah,
mean, do you miss that side of it? Do you miss the side of it that was like just hanging with the boys and doing the local stuff and just everybody throwing in cash money at the ramp and show up, fish. That was that.
yeah, dude. I mean, that's fun for sure, but I definitely like fishing some bigger stuff now. Like it definitely gets me going to fish these huge lakes that you know you you have a good chance at these monster bass or just like hard lakes that you gotta be good to find a limit. I like that
Mhm.
too. When
Yeah,
the top
and
10 are the only ones that get a limit. I do like that too.
And you've grown a lot through kayak fishing. I mean, we're
Hmm.
talking. So your first tournament was obviously Tucker Lake. You pounded the pavement around here
Yeah.
for several good years before you took the leap of faith. I think it was last year and really went big time into some other stuff. Um,
Hmm.
how much of I mean, Indiana stuff, that's not a lie. No, everybody knows that's why nobody wants to come here. It's tough. Um,
Yeah.
how do you feel that that got you ready for what you see down south, and how do you feel like that's give you the ability to just really grind through and be the tournament fisherman that you are today?
I feel like if I could grind out a limit in some of these lakes in Indiana, then it's super easy in some of these awesome lakes in Tennessee or Kentucky. It's it's so tough in Indiana, and there's so many tournaments I fish where there's only one or two limits out of the whole field, in Indiana. So I got a lot more confidence when I go down to Tennessee and I see a little bit of grass somewhere and I can find a school of fish. I never fished schools in Indiana, like, and
No,
then I've sat in one spot several times in Tennessee and caught them all day. I never had that happen,
right.
and I fish different too, so maybe it would happen now if I went somewhere, but it's definitely I'm happy I have that background of learning in Indiana, Southern Indiana in particular, I guess.
Right, and your real upbringing into this whole thing is really I'm gonna say it and then you can elaborate on it. You can put in at a lake with no depth finder and stand a good chance against anybody, anywhere, anytime. And here's why I truly believe that. You're gonna make probably more casts in an hour than some people will possibly make in 4.
I think so. I've
I
definitely
think so.
witnessed people just chill for a minute where I'm making 50 casts while they're taking a drink or whatever, or eating a sandwich.
Mhm.
It may not be the best for my body, but there's times where I'm not worried about eating or drinking anything. I'm just casting. But I don't know, without a depth finder for sure, like just beat the crap out of the bank. That I do like that style for sure.
And that style is also as you've learned and as you've grown, and I mean, it's been fun, um, to watch this evolution play out here the last few years because you've really went from that mentality of "I'll beat you by making more cast and fishing more area" to a more calculated approach.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely helps having more range with the pedals. Back when I was paddling all the time, it was just beat the bank and stay close to the ramp because couldn't get much further. The times where you make little runs, but mile or two in a paddle boat, it's about about max.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
with the pedals, it definitely has increased the water I've covered, and it took a while to figure out that I could fish shallow and not be on the bank. There's plenty of humps and shallow areas out off the bank, and it took a while to figure that out.
You threw this theory on me the other day. I want you to tell everybody at home just kinda like how it was said to you and how you kind of view it now as far as what's considered deep water and then thinking about what shallow water is.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw something where you know I, yeah, I've always thought anything deeper than 8 or 10 feet is pretty crazy deep. But that's only your kayak is only 12 foot long, so that's not very. When you think about that, it's not very deep. If you turned it vertical,
Yeah.
so 20 feet really ain't that much deeper than that. 25, ain't too much more than that. So I definitely have a little bit more confidence, and having slightly better electronics than I used to have too, and I can see things that I haven't been able to see. It's helped me have some confidence to drop down on some fish and catch them. I haven't caught any big fish doing it, but I've been able to catch fish and have a good time just seeing them on the graph and 20 or 30 feet.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
caught a
it's
huge carp the other day. I
Yeah, I got
thought
the
for
picture.
sure it was going to be a monster smallmouth, but no.
So, I mean, you've really, you have. I mean, you've adapted, and do you, as that confidence grows, what do you think that next step in your growth as a kayak angler? Where do you feel like you're going from here?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Just continue to learn this little bit deeper water and figure out how to catch fish in different conditions. I suck in the wintertime, really. That transition from winter to spring, I do really bad. So I'd like to figure
Mhm.
that out, and I think figuring out my electronics will help out a lot. I'll eventually get live scope, but I'm not super worried about it until I can figure out down imaging and side scan stuff. It'd be kind of stupid to get live scope when I don't know how to use that stuff very well.
Yeah, I mean, but you're like you said, you're learning and
Hmm.
you're mapping more, I think, than I've ever
Totally.
seen you do.
Yeah.
Which is key. I mean, a map, I think most people tell you, just like we come back from Kentucky Lake or Dale Hollow or whatever, having that map to find those channels and corridors where those fish are going to be traveling is so huge.
Yeah, I definitely want to end up getting a couple of the cards or whatever the Lake View or whatever they are for Garmin.
Mhm.
Some of those
Yeah, that'll
Navionics.
be interesting to see. As far as we're talking about all the changes and the different things like that. Um, what do you think? I mean, like you look at where we started. Let's let's be honest. It felt like it was maybe a different group of people. Like,
Oh yeah.
what do you think kayak fishing looks like now compared to what it looked like then, and how much it's changed and how just how people act and how different it's gotten?
Man, I'll tell you, like a couple of the first tournaments I went to where I didn't know anybody were it was definitely weird. I tried to say hi to a couple people a couple times and they were just kind of like looking at me weird. So that kind of sucked. I never liked that. Um, I've made more friends the last couple of years fishing in Kentucky and Tennessee than I ever really did. Going up and fishing some of that northern Indiana stuff and some of that stuff. Now it might be different, but when I first started out, it was definitely I felt weird for sure. But it's
Yeah,
awesome. I
it's
like I like it a lot. It seems like there's more camaraderie now maybe than there used to be. I think maybe more
mhm.
people were more sketched out maybe about people. I don't know. It was definitely weird when I first started. Maybe I was just weird. I don't know. But I
Could have
definitely
been
tried to say
mustache
hi.
intimidation.
I just want to be friends with people. I just tried to say hi to a big group of people I was walking past, and they kind of looked at me like I was weird. So I just kind of, whoops,
Mustache
sorry.
intimidation, man. It's mustache
Yeah, dude. It
intimidation.
it it must have been, dude. But
So are you've kind of I'm going all over the place, but it's okay because I don't care.
it's it's
Um,
okay.
one of our buddies that you recently got to spend some time with, Mr. Wyatt Guard, he says that
There he is.
he's a fellow mustache wearer now. So Marcus
Oh,
inspired Wyatt to the point where Wyatt went home and shaved off his beard and become a fellow fire department employee in the Grubbs FD.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he thinks that you possibly rock a pink Huffy around the streets of Louisville.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. No Huffies. I'd ride a pink bike, but not a Huffy.
Joe Gentry says that someone told him Seth Spider lookalike was on tonight.
Oh
That is
man,
110% accurate. If I had the picture in my
dude,
phone still, I would actually throw that up on the screen.
I need that picture.
Um,
I
he
know
also what?
I've looked like this since like a few years before I knew who Seth Spider was. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was
Hmm.
just happened to be a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. Crossing says two living legends. We ain't seen neither one of them yet, but we're trying.
Dang, dude, I miss Brian.
Yeah, we used to
I
have
remember,
this friend named Brian and this friend named Kyle.
dude, my first memory of Brian, we were at Starve Hollow, and he
Hmm.
shows up and he's got the biggest boat I've ever seen in my life. I don't remember what it was. It was just, was it a big rig or what? It was just
No,
huge.
he was doing the old elliptical. He was using the Hobie, I think, at that time.
Was he? Yeah, I remember just
Yeah,
it being a monster. And but I mean,
yeah, he was yeah. That was it was Brown. We had Starve Hollow, we had Delaney Park, and I went with Levi and Andrew, and we went over to
hmm
Delaney Park, and you
I
went
think I
to
fished. I think I fished Delaney,
you may have.
and
I don't
what's his
remember.
face was there too. Kyle.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
Kyle
Kyle was there
Scooter.
because I got stuck. I got stuck on a on a tree, and Kyle had to ram me off the tree with his kayak.
Yeah, back there in the stick ups. I remember that
Yeah,
now.
I was in your cruise.
Yeah, yeah. Cruise
Wow.
still downstairs if you ever decide you want to, relive that memory.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to Starve Hollow. Let me use your cruise.
What you use the cruise. It's the only boat you ever turned over.
Yeah, it is. Damn it.
I mean,
I only lost like I think like a thing of plastics. That's all I lost that day. That's the only boat I've ever fell out of.
well, in your defense, I mean, you did run and try to jump, and the boat was
I was
literally 3 feet from the bank.
I was being pretty
You
cocky.
you landed in the boat though. You had
I
it for a
ran
minute.
into I ran into you,
Yeah,
I remember. And then as I was turning around, that's what got me. The
yeah, and
current and me. Yeah.
that was actually one of your first big travel trips
It was.
that you would
Yeah.
take, and we went to. You had won you'd won our Angler of the Year, and the winnings was a free trip to the old river bassin.
Man.
Yeah, so you gotta go up to the old river bassin in Bristol. Still
With you and
probably
Kyle
one of the
Polk.
Kyle Scooter. He
Kyle.
Kyle. I
I
just
miss
think we should
Kyle.
say a prayer for Kyle. Whatever happened to Kyle, nobody knows.
If he
Um,
popped up in the messages right now or the chat right now, I'd poop my pants.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
Kyle.
yeah, that's part of fishing, wouldn't you say? I mean,
Oh
you see a
man,
lot of
dude.
guys, especially since 2020, you see a lot of guys that got super excited about fishing, but now it's kind of like, and it's always been that way, but 2020 I think's magnified it a little bit more. But you see guys just kind of disappearing into the
Oh
wind,
yeah.
maybe just a little bit.
Oh, seen so many.
Yeah, I mean, because flashing back and thinking about it, we had, I mean, tournaments during 2020, 2021. I mean, you couldn't get in. I mean, if you wasn't remember that tournament at Chickamauga. I mean, you literally texted me and told me that the sign up was open for the BOS. I jump
Oh yeah.
online in the time that you signed up to text me, and it's sold out. That's
Yeah.
how fast the events were selling out.
I'm pretty sure that was like 8 minutes or something crazy. I had an alarm set, and I told the dude I was working with that I was going to take a break for a minute while I did that, and made sure that I got in. If I hadn't done that, I would have. There's no way. It
No,
was
I
crazy.
mean, it
That was
was.
crazy.
Do you feel like guys are disappearing, or maybe like times have changed to a point where people are just maybe scaling back? I mean, what do you think it is because I mean the events aren't selling out like they did at that time.
Yeah, the big ones aren't. It doesn't seem, but I don't see a change locally, really. Like maybe a little bit because different schedules and things, but I mean, it seemed. I mean, all that Tennessee Bass Nation stuff. It seemed like. I mean, it was a. There was always good turnouts for that stuff, and then our kayak some more. I mean, we always had pretty decent turnouts for that.
Hmm.
BKA seems to always have decent ones. It just depends on weather sometimes. Like people wait till the last second. If it's decent, you see decent weather at least. Sometimes you get 5 or 6 more people sign up. But
Yeah, I think we've had this discussion quite a bit. I mean, that is one weird thing about kayak fishing. It's like dudes will stay home if it's raining,
dude, it's
whereas
weird. Yeah.
some of the other tournaments like the big boat stuff. I mean, guys just go. I mean, you
Yeah.
strap on the rain gear, throw on the hood, and go. Now, we've been out in got caught up in some lightning that we're not proud of, obviously. Me
Yeah,
and you
dude, that was
together.
the
That was
sketchiest day
scary.
I've ever been on the water.
Yeah, and it come out of nowhere. I mean, but
Yeah,
I think with a kayak, it can be hard to get out of those situations. So maybe that's why guys stay at home, you think?
probably. It is definitely sketchier. And when me and you got caught, I know for sure I was paddling, but I'm pretty sure you were
Yeah.
too. So,
No,
man, we were.
I had the big rig that day, and I was pedaling, yeah, because I racked the stump real hard with the
Hmm.
pedal with flex drive, and yeah, that was a fun day.
You
But
think
yeah, it was.
we weren't even a half a mile from the ramp, maybe when that lightning did kind of hit, but it still took a
Yeah,
minute.
we'd already started heading back. We could see the clouds, but then the lightning kind
Uh-huh.
of caught up with us before
Before we
it was
got to that
close.
bend, and
Yeah,
the ramp was right around that bend. I
and then
remember
we
it
got
being
swamped.
super sketchy, dude. And that bass boat was coming in at the same time.
Yep, got on a shallow bar, and it absolutely rolled the waves right over top of us.
Yeah, it sucked. I was upset for a second. You had to calm me down.
Crossan has iterated that he will call Kyle's wife again if he needs to.
Oh,
I would host that on live. I'm
dude,
just gonna put that out
if we got Kyle to go fishing with us one day, that'd be awesome.
there. National. Okay, here's Jason. Here's our good buddy Jason Cassidy. Travel costs
Yeah,
for national trails versus ROI makes it tougher, but local stuff like USA Bass and Bass Nation are still strong. I would agree with that.
yeah, yeah. I definitely being able to travel with two other dudes to go down to that Tennessee stuff made it affordable, and then I cashed a few checks, and honestly, like I came out ahead in those tournaments. All said and done, I made
Yeah,
a couple
and
bucks.
you've been fortunate to work with kayaks and more this past season, but looking back 2021 when you really first started going, I mean, you had zero help,
Yeah,
no sponsorship, no nothing. Um, how much would you say out of pocket that you're putting out there to take off and travel to some of these more national events, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky,
dude, I don't even know. I try not to add it
trying to
up,
place
so
that one?
yeah, dude.
What's a typical let's do this. What's a
But
typical weekend look like if you're traveling? Are you spending
dude, no, I don't go crazy.
500,000?
No, 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 I don't go crazy. Like I said, if I was by myself, it'd be a little bit more. But when you got two other people you're splitting gas with, sometimes it was 30 or 40 bucks for gas. And
Mhm.
then we'll split a hotel room. We would go hotel over Airbnb every time. It was just easier. And
Oh
there's
yeah.
another 30 or 40 bucks. And then it was just if I had to buy some lures or whatever, the $75 entry fee, it was cheap, dude. Under $200 for those Bass Nations, all of them. I'd hardly buy lures down whenever we were like actually down there. I bought a lot of stuff before I went, but there's times where we go eat pretty good just because it was cheap. Three dudes driving down in a truck, splitting all that. Like, dude, I don't. I mean, by myself, it is a little bit more pricey, but just gas sucks by yourself, you know.
Oh, 1,000%.
And
I
then a
mean,
hotel room for a night, even a cheap one, 70 or 80 bucks for the cheapest you can get, just about, and split that
mhm.
three ways. That's awesome. But that's probably not going to happen next year. It, you know, might be a lot of two-way splitting, but
Right.
we might have
Yeah,
lost a
and
third.
you've got Tennessee Bass Nation. I mean, dude, you're going to be starting up really quick here. I mean,
Yeah,
within this next month. I mean, 2024 in Tennessee area, man, it starts now. I mean,
yeah,
you got to
yeah, in
be
like
ready to
two
go.
weeks or something. 3 weeks,
Yeah,
yeah, 2.5 weeks, and then
yeah, and
Cherokee in January. Man, Yeah, they got 47 tournaments on the schedule this year.
Only 47.
Only
And
47. And
that's gonna
12-day
be
championship.
that's gonna be huge, man.
It's huge.
Um, how are you enjoying this downtime to kind of like clear your head and get ready to go, or are you just like send it,
I hate it. I want to go.
ready
I'd
to
fish a
go?
tournament tomorrow if I could. Just pick a spot. I'm ready.
It's
I got
28
half.
degrees.
I got
You're on
half the
your own.
crap. I got half the crap rigged.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much ready to
understand.
go for Dale Hollow, dude.
It's so wild that it comes up this fast. I mean, dude, we literally in October just ended, and
Yeah.
then what you had one more in November. Or were
I
you were off all
I,
November?
I was off all November. I almost fished that turkey bowl, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. It didn't seem like it was a very good time.
No, it didn't.
Seemed a little miserable for some of those folks. So I'm glad I stayed home.
Yeah, it man, it's wild that it comes this fast anymore. I mean,
Yeah, it's a year long.
it's
It's
yeah,
there's no downtime. It's just a year long.
yeah. I mean, even here in Indiana where we're at, you're gonna get some freeze. But
Yeah.
dude, I mean, 3 hours south of you, we had no coats on our first year. We went to Del Hollow. We was just out
Right.
there in sweatshirts and pair of pants, and I mean, it was fine,
Dude,
absolutely fine all day.
if it wasn't for the wind last year, I think it was like mid high 50s. It was just windy as crap, which made
Hmm.
it chilly. But like, that's middle of December, beginning of December, and looking at the weather, it looks like it's going to be about the same this year. I hope. I hope.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then
hope it doesn't.
you jet
Hope it
down
doesn't
to
do anything crazy.
Chickamauga, that jet down to Chickamauga, man, and it's like
Yeah.
freaking 60 degrees year round, 50,
Yeah.
60 degree average all year
Yeah.
down
What's
there in
that
the
water? How
winter.
how low does the water get? Temperature wise?
The water get I don't know how the
40s?
temperature on the water gets. I know the water level gets low, and that moves the
Yeah.
fish around quite a bit. But a
It
lot of the
can't get
same
much
good
lower than
stuff
the
still there.
40s, I would think.
Wouldn't think so. 50s,
No.
40s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, right.
Depends on
Yeah.
depends on those nights and if you can eat those big cold bursts.
hmm
But
I fished some of these
yeah, man,
super
it's
small lakes in 30 some degree water and caught little fish, but
yeah,
still, I mean,
they
that's
bite.
some cold crap. I'd rather not do
Yeah,
that.
we've fished some cold days here. I mean, we've always fished and caught fish in November at the local body of water, and it's always been a good time. And it's really impressive when you can head south and
Yeah,
get on some, and they're just like it's like being in spring.
dude, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes to the ramp I go to at Dale Hollow. I can't wait. I want to go. I'll go this weekend if I
It's
could.
what do you anticipate? What do you anticipate coming up at Del Hollow? Steve always puts on a great tournament. What do you think it's
Always.
going to take to win down there?
It's always in the 90s. It probably I low to mid 90s,
Hmm.
I think. I don't know. It'd probably be smallmouth, but I mean, largemouth are always players, so who
Hmm.
knows? Old
It's interesting,
Riser's probably got his pet fish biting, so he's
right?
always one to look out for. That's his
It, it
home turf.
it's interesting though. You get into some of these lakes, like and Del Hollow is kind of one of them. Somebody can run away with it there very easily if they get on the right bites.
hmm
But there's a lot of lakes that we fish, and Kentucky Lake, including a lot of people have been crying and whining, hey man, there's not very many big fish, but the competitiveness of that body of water right now is exciting.
Oh yeah, it is. I
I
mean,
mean,
there's still big fish out there.
there's still big
They're just
fish out there, but dude, that was an intense event. I
oh
mean,
man, there's hardly a
not
day that goes by I don't think about
yeah, not only for you guys. I mean, but for like
it.
Jason judging fish and then me having to check his work
hmm
and Rudy out there, he was judging fish too. I mean, it was everybody had a shot. Really, I mean, at the end of the day, the top 10 going
Yeah,
into day two had a shot.
yeah. Those are
You,
way more exciting than just some runaway stuff, you know. Dude's got a 8-inch lead going into the second day or something that's
hmm
dialed.
we always talk about the pro fishing too, and you look at stuff like the Sabine River. I mean, it's not big fish, but when you look at it from a viewership standpoint, it's stupid competitive.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to fish that.
All except for the Gators. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, dude.
Yeah, I
Watch
haven't
them,
really thought much about that, but
watch some
it's
dude
sketchy.
get eat on that Geo fishing in a kayak the other day.
No.
And it kind of turned me off. Now he was in like Africa somewhere in the
Okay.
Congo, but nevertheless,
Probably a pretty small kayak too.
yeah, it was a paddling touring boat, and it just didn't look as pleasant to me as
No,
yeah. Just got me thinking,
no, yeah.
Jesse. These guys are always giving me a hard time about the Gators.
Yeah, I
Got me
mean,
with the Gators. Gators
where
ain't
do
no big deal.
where do the gators
I'm
start coming in? Are
I
they in
don't care.
like Florida? I guess that's probably like the
I think you can get into. I think Georgia, Alabama,
Georgia
like you
even.
get down. Yeah, you
Oh,
get down south, you can get into some gators. I don't
ugh,
know. I don't want to
yeah,
know.
me neither. I would like to fish
Cassidy
Florida
says
though.
you follow.
That ugh,
Rudy says
yeah.
gators don't mess around. See, Rudy's from up north too. He's like he's anti-gator. I feel you, Rudy.
I'm pretty. I mean,
Gators.
I've never seen one. It'd be cool to kind of see, but I don't want to be
I
seeing
don't
it
want to
up
see
close
one.
and personal.
No, no, not up close. Not like that. I want a fence
No,
between me and said gator.
no, no. I don't want one to come up and eat my topwater or something. And have to
So
figure out
does
what I'm
that?
gonna do.
So does that rule out ever taking on one of the nation events down in Florida? You just be like,
Dude,
just wait till they get a little further north.
I would love to, man. I want to go down to Florida and fish so bad. It's just, I mean, that's a haul. I
It is.
wish it was easier to drive 12 hours and practice for a couple days and fish for a couple days and then chill and drive back 12 more hours and go to work. But it's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough on
dude.
a.
I think that's something too for you. I think that a lot of people that have got to follow you this year, and I know because we're friends. You don't get a lot of practice time when you go to these events.
No, no.
I mean,
Luckily, I had two other dudes with me to help break down some of the areas that we tried out. That helped out a lot. But I mean, we fished so much similar. Like we were just able to obviously cover more water and talk about what was going on. That helped out a lot. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a couple days and I mean, be able to hit 5 or 6 ramps or something. And I don't know. I kind of did learn to practice this year, got way better at it
mm,
for sure. I was better at not catching fish. There's there's times in practice where I would catch fish because I hadn't really caught too many fish on that body of water, so I was just like, well, I'm catch them because I can. Not worried about
right.
tomorrow. They may not bite tomorrow, but they definitely weren't going to bite tomorrow if I was catching them right then. So
Well, I mean, that's something, man. We see. I would like to say we
that's
just see it here in Indiana, but man, it's freaking everywhere.
no, I think it's the worst
These,
thing in kayak fishing probably for a lot of
yeah,
the tournament fishing at least. Like too many sore mouth fish, like you probably
yeah,
do a lot better if you just kind of looked around with your eyeballs instead of making a cast.
yeah. Look at the graph. Look with your
Yeah,
eyes. See what you see.
yeah.
Cut them
Make
hooks
a
off.
few
Have a
casts.
set of baits.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut them hooks off. But
See what the
there's. I
I've
mean,
definitely caught a fish or two, to see how they were biting, to see what kind of size they were, of course. And I cut my
yeah.
hook, or I cut the barb and the hook off at Kentucky Lake when I was practicing. And I still caught 2 fish. They
hmm
just they were just choking it.
Yeah.
So I'd never
But
done
I
that
mean,
until this year. I never cut the hook off. That's crazy talk.
right. But
Shake a
there's a
fish
lot of
off?
these
You're
guys.
wild.
But you go down. Say you go somewhere and you spend upwards of $1,000 to get there to one of these
Hmm.
events, and some of the different cash flow that goes into it. Man, cut the hook. I mean, I get why people want
Yeah,
to catch the fish,
yeah. Back
but
of your mind, you
you
never
gotta
know.
be
It could
smart.
be a 10 pounder, but it's probably not.
Yeah, probably not, unless
Probably
you're in
not.
Florida or Texas.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to set the hook on some of those fish.
I mean, I'm guilty. I've caught a daggone near 7 pounder in practice before, and
Yeah,
it's just part of
it
it.
just happens. Yep, yep. I gotta quit letting people in on my
Hmm.
spots too. I've done that 2 or 3 times this year, and it kind of screwed me a couple times too.
It's too
So
nice, man.
it's too nice. I just I want my buddies to do well, and when there's 3 of us down there, I'll try to find a way to get them on some fish if they're not, and if it means letting them in my spot, I definitely did. But I gotta I gotta be better about that this year because I think it hurt me a couple times this year.
Well, and I think you've seen, like, when you get into the 2 layers and the different things like that, man, you really got to,
Oh, yeah.
down at Kentucky Lake, I think you knew what you had, and if you
Hmm.
would have, like, took your foot off the gas and let up on those fish and just kind of sit there for a little bit, I mean, you had what you had. You might upgrade a quarter, you might upgrade a half on the first day,
Right.
you might get an inch,
Uh
but
huh.
at the end of the day, the size ratio was pretty
It
much the
was.
same 2 days straight.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you know that you've kind of learned that you're going to have to save those fish and move on to keep them happy for the next day.
Yep. Yep. And I've had I've only fished a handful at 2-day tournaments, so that that's the only 2-day tournament I've ever done well at. The first I fished that the Bass Nation Championship, on Gunnersville. First day I had 90 some inches, I forget. And I think I was in fifth or sixth place, after the first day, but I burned that spot up. I let my buddy in to catch some fish because there was a ton of 14 and 15-inch fish, but there was a few 20 plus, and he caught a 21.5 inch, I think, and that was bigger than any fish I caught in 2 days in that
Hmm.
spot. And I let him in for a couple hours,
Right.
and watching it kind of, it was awesome that he caught that fish, but I mean, it hurt too because it was my spot, like,
Right. Right.
you know,
Now, behind you, I got to go here because this is a podcast, and keep in mind I am your friend. I'm not poking the bear here.
I'll poke
But
it.
behind you, you've got a lot of second places.
Oh my God, dude. All of them.
All of them second places. Tennessee Bass Nation for the
Yeah.
folks that don't know. You come up. I mean, You're leading the daggone points. If it was
Yeah.
tournament for tournament, all the events you led the points because you
Oh
fished
yeah.
all the events. You had it in the bag, but due to the rules, certain tournaments for certain guys fell off. You ended up losing AOY to that technical. I'm gonna call it technicality. I don't
Yeah,
really.
pretty much.
To me, I don't like when tournaments fall off. I think it ought to be, show up every tournament counts for the guys that like actually showed up and fished every
Yeah.
tournament. That's my
Yeah.
personal opinion. That's the way I like to see it. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then Kentucky Lake, being there and seeing your face transform when you knew you had
Yeah.
got second place. I
Yeah.
mean, it
And
was just like it come over you, it hit hard, and I've never seen I mean, I've seen you throw some fits out on the water. Don't get me wrong. I've seen you break
yeah.
stuff, but to see your face transform in that manner was it was just a moment.
Dude.
If things stand out at a tournament, that was it for me being on the sidelines. It was that change in facial expression and that heartache.
Yeah.
What's it gonna feel? What's it gonna mean when it does happen? I mean, you've worked
Oh
hard.
man. Oh, dude, I don't know what. I'll probably cry, dude.
I
Who
lost your
knows? If it's
sound.
something big, you can't hear
There
me.
you go. You're
All
yep.
right.
I got you now.
No, uh, I'll probably shed a tear, dude. Who knows? If it's something big, I'll definitely, dude. Like, the only reason that hit so hard at Kentucky Lake was because I lost two big fish in the morning that I seen. They jumped. I got to look at them, and I
Hmm.
know for sure either one of those fish would have won the tournament. But after talking to people, there was three or four people that had the same story. And all it took
Hmm.
was a fish flopping off of Chris's board that he was
Yeah.
measuring. He already caught it. He landed it. He did all he really needed to do, except that last tiny picture. He had
Hmm.
that was the win. So he, feel worse for him. All said and done, like I could be selfish and feel bad for me, but man, he had the big limit on the first day, and he would have had another big limit on the second day if he would have just had that picture. He caught the fish. I
Hmm.
didn't even catch the fish,
Yeah.
so he deserved it more than me. And then I can't remember the dude's name who won. I'm bad with names, but he deserved it, of course. He won the freaking thing. So I
Do you
I
feel
can't be,
do you feel like
you know,
it's a matter of it just hasn't been your time yet?
I guess I think I haven't been fishing that long. I got to think about that too. I haven't been doing it very long, so yeah, there's plenty of time. There's dudes that have been doing it for twice as long or three times as long that are in the same boat. So I got
Oh
I
yeah.
got time. So
Yeah, you definitely got time. And I think
I'm
this year
consistent.
could be the year.
Yeah, I'm consistent. I'm happy. I'd rather have a lot of seconds and fourths and fifths and top tens than second place here and a 74th there and a 15th here and a 57th there. I'm happy being close. Just
Yeah,
all it takes sometimes is that one kicker fish.
and that's not I'm knock on wood. That's something that you haven't faced yet is the bad year, I would say.
Yeah, I've had
You have
yeah. That first year
you
fishing in Kentucky wasn't very good, but I still made the championship and stuff. Barely.
right.
I think I was seventh in like AOI or something, something like that.
Still, that's not bad.
Still,
If you round out in your seventh in AOY, you're still top 10.
yeah.
So I would call that, a top 10 heading into AOY points. You're still there. You're still knocking on the door. There's still a chance. I still think at the end of the day, and again, knock on wood, that you have avoided thus far with your ability to adapt quickly that bad season.
Yeah. I mean, as long as we don't have a bunch of tournaments on Lake Cumberland, I'll probably be fine.
There's going to be a few this year, from what I hear.
I know, I'm just playing, but I for whatever reason, I've had
Is this something
one.
you think about though?
Yeah, I mean, it's always in the back of your head. Like I think I mean this year, the first four or five tournaments I did pretty crappy.
Hmm.
And I remember like, my friends kind of jokingly talking trash, but once that water started warming up,
Hmm.
it just started happening. I don't know that transition, man. I got to figure that out, that winter to spring kind of
Yeah,
deal.
and that's one I think we both always struggled with the most. There's kind of like two areas I think that we would both agree that is like a hardcore survival
Mm.
tournament, and that's kind of like end of September, first week of October till things
Oh
like
yeah.
kind of start to change in October, and then like that early early spring to winter to
Hmm.
spring transition
Totally.
is kind of one of those areas where yeah we've had some demons for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm heading to the bank way too quick, and I don't know. I might have a little bit more confidence looking at my graph now. You know,
Yeah.
just I don't know what I know.
You feel like you're getting an idea of like finally starting to figure out transition and movement as far as where these fish are coming from, where they're going.
A little bit, I think they're always going to be in areas, So I don't know. I think I just rely on that a little more.
Mhm.
Just still going shallow pretty deep into the summer, and then that, once it gets real hot, that's when I actually start moving out. But I mean, like I said, 10 or 12 foot is deep to me. So when you're catching, it's not that bad. It's not that deep, but they'll still school up in that depth. So I have a lot more confidence in that area now. And then everything before was like 5 feet or less.
Mhm.
So
Right on. So 47 events, 2024. Rattle off where you head.
in 2024, where am I heading? You see?
Yeah, where you heading?
Let's see here. Let's get out the
He's
list
got the
here.
list, folks.
No, I'm going to do a bunch of Dale Hollow. There's like 4 Dale Hollow tournaments. I'm pretty sure.
There's 10 tournaments at Del Hollow in 2024 for sure.
Dang. So I'm definitely doing like 4 or 5 probably. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of that. I'm gonna try to do that Cherokee in January,
Mhm.
Watts Bar in February. At Chickamauga in March. Dale Hollow. You got Cedar Creek in March. It looks like Cumberland in April, which that'd probably be all right. I can deal with Cumberland in April instead of like
Yeah, I feel like April
I,
and Cumberland ought to be pretty fire.
dude. I fished Cumberland one time when the water was like
Mm.
16 feet high. I was fishing right next to a deer stand that I could have like
Mm-hmm.
walked out of my boat and sat in the tree stand. It was that high and
Nice.
fishing that crap. It sucked, dude. That's one of the only tournaments I ever left at like noon. I went home.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I also broke some rods and stuff last time I was at Cumberland, but we'll just breeze past that. I'm gonna try that Bassmaster at Gunnersville just because I like Gunnersville a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
if that doesn't happen, there's a kayak some more tournament that same weekend. So I'll just do
Right.
that. So it looks like a whole lot of Tennessee again because that is the mecca to me. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I dude, if I can live down there one day, I'm going to. So that'll be the goal. I'm just keep trying to like
Keep
find
inching
some
your
rich
way
lady
south.
to take me in.
Yeah, I will. You've got them good looking thighs after pedaling all year for your first
Well,
year.
once I start wearing shorts,
Mm.
look out.
Yeah.
I gotta
Got the
let these
calf
legs get a
muscles are
little.
built up,
I gotta let them
quads
get
are
tan,
flared
dude.
out.
I'm always wearing pants, dude. I gotta start wearing some shorts, get some color on my legs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got to. Once they burn the first time, you're good, man.
Whew, dude, I'm so
You
white.
just you just gotta get past the first burn, bro. You'll be fine. You'll be
where
fine.
you where are you gonna go this year?
Where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question that I can't answer
Yeah.
just yet.
I wanna go.
It's things are turning a little bit different for me in 2024. I got some new projects that I'm going to be working on that I'm super fired up about. Um, in Indiana, we actually Josh's Smoky Biscuits and
Oh
I
yeah.
actually combined our trail for the USA Bassin deal to kind of help limit it to do some of the projects that I've got to take care of, and I'm excited. I've been kind of rolling over a lot of things in my mind the last month, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I hope it ends up being like the East 50 tour,
Ooh,
uh,
infamous. That was just
infamous East 50
man.
tour. I'm 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 kind of looking at it like it could be that again, something to that nature of just like trying to hit something different more
Hmm.
continuously
Yeah.
for what we're going to be doing. But we'll see. We'll see. It's all
Yeah.
gotta gotta recharge the batteries and get ready to go that way. But we'll definitely have the whole USA Bass and stuff up here in Indiana. My hope is to get down to Kentucky and fish a little bit with Kayaks and More Crew this year.
Yes. Yeah. You
I know
got
we've
some.
got some tournaments that don't collide for the first time, so that'll be fun. I'll actually get to be able to move around a little bit more now that we're consolidated down to one. So hopefully
Yeah.
be down there, be down in Tennessee a little bit more. But yeah, that's my goal.
Have you ever fished Nolan?
I didn't make it to No Land. That's one of the ones that I wanted to come to.
Dude, that's an awesome lake. You would like it, I think, a lot. Just knowing
Probably.
how you fish and stuff, I think
I
you'd
like
like
Green
it.
River too, though. I would like
Yeah.
to do Green River in April again.
Yeah. There's definitely. Let's see. When are we going to Green River? Doesn't look like we're going till the summertime. I don't
Yeah.
know. This is an old list. It looks like
Green
I've
River was
made.
an awesome
Dude,
place. It's a
I
cool
like it,
lake.
but it's a tough fishery, man. I think the
It's
last
busy.
two tournaments I fished there, I don't think I had a limit, and I still cashed a check. And this
Hmm.
last one I may have had a limit, but I know 2 years ago I only had 3 or 4 fish, and I came in fourth place, I think.
It's one of those
It's a
places that got popular fast.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It was
sure
doing
the COVID years probably
COVID
put a lot of
years. It
pressure
was
on the place.
no, I think so. I think it was a hot happening lake, and then
Yeah,
that pressure
yeah.
crept up on it.
My
Because that
my
first
my.
time we went was
Yeah,
epic.
dude, that place is awesome. But my PB is from that lake, you
Yeah.
know. But there's a
Well, I had 2 4s in one cove back to back cast that
oh
one
yeah,
time.
forgot about that. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the lipless, a gold one, black back.
Gold blackback lipless, ripping and burning. Yeah, that was awesome. That
Yeah,
was a
dude.
cool day. That was a cool day. And then I think was it Matt Cunningham caught another big one of our other Jackson guys. That was a good weekend until it started raining.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you left your tent in the trash can there.
Yeah, I got mad at my tent, put it in the trash can, said I wasn't ever camping again. And for the record, I still haven't camped since.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you in a tent since
No,
then.
no,
We have gotten a
I'll
cabin or
be at the
two.
Holiday Inn.
Yeah, or yeah, that cabin at Patoka. Yeah, that was the best one.
Yeah, Cabin at Patoka, where
Yeah,
where the name Smoky Biscuits came from.
yeah.
That was a pretty fire place. The cabin at Kentucky Lake actually wasn't bad at all. Um,
Oh, that
the
place
cabin
was real nice.
at the cabin at Del Hollow was good. The one we stayed at down there.
Yeah, it was a little,
It
it was a
wasn't
little
the
turdy, but
biggest cabin. Yeah,
it was all right.
wasn't the biggest. It was
That
alright.
cove kind of sucked. I couldn't
That
catch a
cove
fish
did kind
there.
of suck, but I caught 2 4 pound smallmouth out of
You
there, and
caught
I'm
nice
sorry.
ones.
I
I
did
couldn't.
catch nice ones out of there. It's all right. I struggled out the second day. Then my clothes ended up getting wet because my NRS clothes were leaking all over me. So I went back to the cabin because I was mad about that.
Dude, that was a test. That was a super test for my rain gear.
Yeah,
It worked.
I was mad after that one.
It was cold,
But
dude.
it was a cold rain, brand new NRS gear, and it was leaking. And
Yeah,
I don't wear anything NRS now.
dude. I
I
sat
kicked
out
it
there the
off.
whole time and I didn't catch a fish.
All right.
I fished the whole time. That was my first
Yeah.
Tennessee Bass Nation experience. Big
It was a good
zero.
it it ended up, I mean, some people caught him, some people didn't on that one.
That's kind of
Mm.
how it is. If you catch a limit in December, you're probably getting in that top 10.
Yeah, that's
You know,
fair.
that's
Yeah.
how it's been the last few years there. You know, so
But no, we'll have to do this again. But dude, we've made it an hour. I know we've got like we've got stories to tell that, like, I don't even think they're fit for the podcast. There should be like an alternate podcast where we like actually can
Yeah, dude.
just,
Orion OnlyFans.
yeah, like an OnlyFans version because it's dynamite stuff.
Yeah, dude. I'll take my shirt off for it.
Take shirt off for it. That might have happened at a wedding. I don't know. I might have been there.
Oh, man, that was crazy. I
Uh,
don't remember. Did it really happen? If I don't remember, there's pictures.
no, I don't have a picture of it anymore. I don't have a
Jesus.
picture anymore. Um, but yeah, dude. So like, as we sign off, I'm gonna let you like tell people where to like follow you on the socials and give a shout out to the good people that have helped you out throughout and got you going. Cassidy says it definitely happened about your shirt, by the way.
Oh man, I don't remember it, but I kind of remember it. Anyway, definitely kayak some more out of Bee Spring, Kentucky, right on Nolan Lake, the most beautiful, well, one of the most beautiful lakes in Kentucky. It's definitely one of my favorite lakes to fish. We're 5 minutes from one of the best ramps to fish. So, Kim and Tony are awesome. If you want a kayak or any kind of accessory, whatever, they're gonna treat you like gold.
Mm-mm.
They're awesome. They've treated me like gold, and I don't know if I deserve it, but they're beautiful people. I love representing them. I'm happy that to be part of their little family over there. And yeah, you can follow them at Kayak Some More on Facebook. I think they have a Kayak Some More tournament trail on Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
their regular Kayak Some More page on Instagram. So
Yeah.
check out all their sweet deals when they give them out. And they got they're gonna get I don't know. I am on Instagram at Dad's Bassin, and
Official.
Facebook's just my name, Marcus with an A, Grubbs, two B's and an S. And yeah, I mean, thanks Chad for getting me on here. Thanks for everything.
No,
Psyched
man.
for you and your endeavors. And if you need somebody to help out and be a part of things, I'm down anytime.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
very positive that you will be probably summoned for my my endeavor at some point. Um, because we keep it classy, as people
That's
will
right.
have probably figured out when we're on the road. We're the classiest bunch of dudes that you ever could drink a beer or 20 with, or
Yeah,
shots,
I got lucky,
or
and
listen to
I got
karaoke.
taught I got taught at a young age how to travel and be cool.
Yes, we we
So
we travel we travel fun. That's for sure.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so thank you to our sponsors, Orion, Jackson Kayak. We wouldn't be here doing the show without Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers, obviously Cass King. They have been a great sponsorship this year. Super stoked on them. Zepro Lithium keeps Zach and I powered out on the water. Um, keeps our camera gear powered on the water. It's without Zepro Lithium this past year, it would have majorly sucked. So super stoked for the folks at Zepro Lithium, and we're happy to welcome Evolve Fishing. We've got a discount code coming for those guys, so stay tuned for that. We'll have it up on the next episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. We will see you on Thursday for a brand new episode of Jackson Kayak Dock Talk. We've got a new, well-rounded, established group of individuals come on, shoot the breeze with. We're going to talk a little bit of fishing and have a good time with it. So, good night, everybody.